All right, everyone. Welcome back to the land of Chem. I am your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Sunday Site Visit 31, and you may be noticing some changes in scenery behind me, and please anticipate more of the same over the next several weeks. I have some absolutely major research-based episodes in the works, including a multiple episode series on the power source of the Egyptian pyramids and some site expeditions from ancient structures that have never before been seen here on this channel. So if this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other structures around the world, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Like, comment, stay tuned if you want to help support the channel. Check out the Land of Chem members only section, link in the video description below. This month's episode will feature never before seen footage from the Sphinx enclosure and an absolutely critical revelation from the lead inspector of the Giza Plateau himself. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, check out thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget to check out our new channel, Egypt Eats, for food review content from all of the fantastic restaurants in Egypt. Link in the video description below. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. And in tonight's video, we will explore the Pyramid of Niuserre during our special permission access to Abu Gharaib and Abu Sir on day 3 of the Land of Chem 2023 Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour here in Egypt. Pyramid of Niuserre features one of my absolute favorite in-situ artifacts that I have ever seen in person. This exquisitely carved red quartzite conduit system and collection bowl. And as a preface to today's footage, I wanted to show you some before and after comparisons of what it looked like during the original excavations, which you can see here, and this absolutely spectacular masterpiece that you can see today, still in its original place, with the termination of the conduit here and the collection bowl itself underneath. And here's another exceptional photo from this site expedition showing what this in-situ artifact looked like during the original excavations when it was still partially buried in sand, and what it looks like today. So now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 31 from our private special permission access to the Pyramid of Niuserre in Abu Sir. Correct. And over here...
Yeah, I don't buy it. It's just too impractical.
Yeah, but the only problem is to change the event.
Are the remains of the Valley Temple. And as I was discussing in Saqqara, the flooding of the Nile River used to come in through this area here, bringing water directly to the Valley Temple.
Over here? Yeah.
Actually, I say you do it with a tool. You have a ultrasonic vibrating tool. I'm not saying I know how they did that, but if you have that, then you explain absolutely everything. You have the easiness of the scoop marks, you can use simple shaped tools.
And if you look over here in the corner, there are pieces of red granite still in place. There are a number of fragments that have tool drills or tubular drills here in this area as well. And we'll start over here and just walk straight up the causeway. This is one of my favorite places. Up this causeway, there's a channel all the way down through here, which gets wider toward the base, and it goes all the way back up to the channel system within the pyramid itself. And when we get to the Eastern Temple, they found 5 basins,
like we just saw.
very similar to what we just saw within this temple. may have also been sheeted with copper. And this is the pyramid where they found all of the copper tubing and piping underneath the floor of the temple.
And what do they currently publicize as the date?
So this is 5th dynasty. And Nayusare. Three different pharaohs, correct. And Mo, I'm gonna walk down this way to Nayusare and Neferkare, and then we'll come back and finish up here.
Okay.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
you need to ask us.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's take this modern walkway here to the left, and then we'll come back down on the ancient causeway.
So this is modern restoration.
Correct, yeah. This is the modern walkway here.
I'm gonna have a minute. I want to do this again.
That's my plan. And you can see here, over on the far left, the remains of an ancient wall. Correct?
Today, but maybe it wasn't. You think they had a perimeter wall?
Again, you have to imagine that a lot of this was being flooded. So there would have been retention walls,
Right, to keep the water out.
keeping water in and out of certain areas.
But do they have it? Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's like a ridge.
Yeah, so the ridge going down.
That was one of those
This one? So that's up for speculation. There is a channel running down the center of it. I don't know if anyone has actually gone inside the causeway to see if there's anything subterranean running beneath the system.
There's definitely mentions the music also being
Hollow on the inside, correct. And I agree with that, and I like that interpretation.
like a pipe
Correct.
for water.
You know, intuitively that seems consistent with the construction methodology of the entire plateau. I mean, there's subterranean shafts running underneath everything. And this is where we'll cross over into the threshold of the structure here in just a little bit on the way back. And you can already see here, looking into the temple, the limestone pillars that surround the center of the structure. And back in this corner, there's a shaft leading down to a subterranean chamber that we're going to look at here in just a moment, that has two containers, sarcophagi. Granite on the exterior, limestone layer on the inside. And the fit of the limestone container inside the red granite container it's flawless.
Those columns are limestone or granite?
Limestone, yeah. And you can see already here the erosion on the top of the columns. So remember, all of this was buried in sand.
Oh my God.
Anything that was above the layer of sand was exposed to sun and wind erosion for thousands and thousands of years. So everything below that, and you see all these piles of rubble here, they had to unbury this whole thing, move all of the sand and rubble, And that created these piles that you see adjacent to the structure. And the reason I was saying, so you see here how they've rebuilt the exterior of it. So this is most likely interior, and you can see there the casing stones on the outside. That's why I was saying that what you were looking at there is an interior layer.
Yeah.
You know, this was Jacob.
Yeah.
So you see there on the corner, the casing blocks.
Yeah.
So the interior rough one that we were just looking at there is an interior course.
To that.
And it was cased on the outside
Okay.
with finished limestone. So that layer of salt was most likely on an inner layer
In between the two.
two stones. And so we'll keep rolling in this direction. There's really the first thing that I want to show you is the red quartzite conduit system at the pyramid of Nayusare, which is the third one in the sequence. And then we'll make our way back here, and I can show you some of the geology, some of the saw cuts, some of the tubular drills. So what you're looking at here is an adornment of the temple. So this was probably at the top of the temple itself, and an adornment of an exterior casing block. You can see one over there, one here. You know, as I was explaining, these are rough interior pieces that were cased with finished limestone. Most of that finished limestone now having been removed from the site and taken for other construction purposes.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of this entire site, and I know I'm moving quickly today, but I'm just being very cognizant of our time here. It's already almost 11. We got to be finished by 12:30. So I'm just trying to make sure that we can cover the entire site. And we're going to walk down to the end of this temple here in just a moment, so I can show you the beginning and end of the conduit system. So black basalt here, the temple floor. Remember I showed in an episode that black basalt has thermoregulatory and retention properties. So for heat storage and heat insulative properties. A very, very unusual material. And you'll see here that there was black basalt walls of this temple. And as we walk back through, specifically with the Pyramid of Sahura, you'll see either red granite casing with limestone core or black basalt casing with a limestone core. Again, the layering of these different types of geologies as directly related to the properties of these particular types of stone. So let's cross over this hill just so I can quickly show you the outside of this pyramid. And then we'll come back through here and take a look at some of the black basalt, saw marks.
No, I don't want to. I already talked to him.
In. So the conventional explanation is this for water drainage. My question is, if you're just draining water, for example, draining water off the edge of your house, you don't then collect it. There's no need for the collection bowl when you can just easily run a conduit and drain it back into the Nile River. So what did they have? People scooping it out of the collection bowl, walking all the way down to the river and then dumping it in the river. It's very inconsistent. Also using red quartzite, which is a more difficult stone to shape than limestone. It comes from incredibly far away, and you bring it all the way here to the site to bury it underneath the temple floor to never be seen. So a very special type of material, same thing that we saw at the Pyramid of Wanis, that white calcite conduit system. Again, crystal material that's buried underneath the floor of the temple for a water drainage system. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yes, yes, of course.
There's some Egyptian glue over here.
These things are going to go full. Same thing.
I'm a very
Good.
I'm at Chocolate City.
Put them up. Put them up. Put them up.
And so as we walk through this temple, we'll see it more here as we go back in this direction. But I'll show you here because there's a perfect example here of the layering of the core of limestone that was cased in black basalt. And you can see here, the black basalt is perfectly fitted to the interior limestone core.
A lot more work to do it that way,
Correct.
unless
And you can see there, right where your hand is, a saw cut.
Yes.
Correct.
It's like it's curved.
the radius.
Correct.
Blade,
Yeah. So again, it's been implied that that was a circular saw, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a circular saw. It could just be a pendulum saw that had a curvature to the blade. And again, you can see the striations of the, if you pour some water on that, you can kind of clean off the dust, and you'll very easily be able to see the striations that are in that piece of basalt. And there's another piece over here that I'll show you in just a second that has that same configuration, and you can look down and see the edge of the saw blade cut, which again is an indication of the thickness of the blade that we used to cut the stone. So there's very, very interesting things about this site.
Did I tell you we found Egyptian glue on a hieroglyph?
On a hieroglyph, yeah. So that may also be copper oxide, which there's a lot of that because they used to embed those hieroglyphs with either a bronze or a copper inlay.
Your ankle just sort of.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So
Alright.
we're going this direction?
Yeah, we're still going to walk in this direction. So I want to show you this other piece of stone here. So again, black basalt floor, thermogenic heat retention properties. Right, so once you get this thing hot, it will stay hot. Black basalt also has acoustic and electromagnetic energy insulative properties. That was what I'm looking for. I know.
I'm accurate at now. Okay. You're the engineer, bro.
So now we have traversed the entire length of this eastern temple. Okay, so let's now propose. The black basalt has thermoregulatory properties. You have a solution that you want to keep hot as it's being transported through the eastern temple system. Hence the thermoregulatory properties of the black basalt stone. Also has electromagnetic and acoustic insulative properties. So currently they use ultrasound to separate nanoparticles of metal that has been dissolved in an acidic solution. So to prevent these nanoparticles from recoagulating, they use ultrasound to keep these solutions separated. And here, so imagine the solution is flowing through, you don't want it to coagulate, all your nanoparticles that you just created to coagulate. And you can see here, this red granite conduit system. So it runs the entire length of this eastern temple from the base of the pyramid underneath the black basalt floor, and it terminates over here into this beautifully carved red granite collection bowl. And this was, so 2017, Yusuf brought us here as a surprise. I didn't know that this was a part of the itinerary. I didn't know we were going to get a chance to go inside the red pyramid either. So we're walking around here, and I come over here and I was like, wait 1 second. As soon as I saw collection, it was an immediate kind of contradiction to, so again, I was interested in Christopher Dunn's work and the production of electricity, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to come here, is I wanted to see it for myself. to see if there was any evidence of, you know, okay, so you can generate electricity in the structure. How do you get it out of there? How do you transmit it everywhere? But as soon as I saw this, immediately indicative of a liquid solution being collected. And in my opinion, you don't collect drainage water. When you have a huge source of water here, plenty of available drinking water, they could have purified that Nile River water, leading down into the collection bowl. So again, this implied to me collection of something important, because you also wouldn't carve a collection bowl out of red granite unless it was something important, significant that you were collecting. So this has also been proposed that this was for collection of ceremonial ritual fluids. Okay, so now we're talking about the same thing, chemistry, ancient chemistry, the production of ancient ceremonial fluids. This is just terminology used by archaeologists because they don't understand exactly what they were producing. But anyone who's familiar with ancient magic and ceremonial magic, once you create a solution or a mixture or a potion or whatever you want to call it for a certain purpose, it's discarded after the ritual is over. You don't then go collect it and reuse it. It's eliminated. Once it's done for its ceremonial purpose, that is then discarded and you make a new one for your next ritual. So again, the collection doesn't necessarily correlate with that proposition either. So again, this is one of the main artifacts that completely changed my understanding of what the Egyptian pyramids really are.
And why not water for healing? So it's been charged through the crystals, the rocks.
Right, so I think
then
that water treatment as well certainly would have been a part of this. So for example, the Serapia. Okay, so let's say you just filled that with water. And what is it? It's Massaro, the guy who did the water crystal experiment where he charged the water with certain thought vibrations. Yes, right. So you can do the same thing with ultrasound, which is restructuring water, even just for drinking purposes. So you fill that subterranean chamber with water. The boxes themselves are emitting ultrasonic vibrations, which is restructuring the water. This is certainly another alternative interpretation for what could have been going on in that system, just for simple drinking water. Not simple drinking water, but drinking water that was intended for the consumption of the elites, the priesthood class, right? So of course this wasn't just for, hey, everybody come get a cup of this sacred water. But some of these things go down about 2 feet. Some of them, you see there, that one's about 3 feet. So it goes down from the surface level that you can see, 3 feet down.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work.
You have to really want it.
They had some heavy acid rain problem here, huh? With the raindrop shapes there.
Yeah.
Not on the side.
Yeah. Rain erosion.
I see the same in Germany.
Wouldn't die right Okay.
Well, again, the production of acidic solution. What if this somehow got into the atmosphere?
See this?
Producing acid rain.
Rain erosion.
Alright, so here as we walk back through, the main thing I wanted to point out as we head in this direction is kind of the beginning of the layering of limestone cased in black basalt. And you saw here that saw mark. If you didn't see that as we were walking through, there's a beautiful saw mark here in this piece of black basalt. Kind of cross over anywhere in through here, just kind of head over in this direction. So Bashoy, if you want to take her back, or
Yeah, she wants to go to the bus.
yeah, no problem. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so let's regroup here in the shade. Just make sure that I've got everybody still with us. Okay, so we've got 1, 2 that are down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up and rolling. What do you guys think? Pretty incredible.
You should get to stay here on Zoom.
All right.
There's no active.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 31. And if you think that chemical collection bowl from the Pyramid of Nayusere is interesting, Just wait until you see the absolutely groundbreaking artifact that I will be revealing in next week's Sunday Site Visit 32. So if this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the function of the Egyptian pyramids, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube. Click that little notification bell, like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Land of Chem members only section, link in the video description below, and thelandofchem.com if you want to grab a copy of the book or pick up some merch. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, check out Egypt Eats if you're interested in some food reviews from all of the fantastic restaurants here in Egypt. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time. Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.